is a big demo of the still.
Cooperation between Europe and the US will not become impossible, but will become much more difficult. Clearly, European public opinion has been skeptical as to the ability of Donald Trump to do the right thing in global affairs. Those are the results of various polls from the last few months. Clearly, European leaders knew Clinton. Clinton knew Europe, had a vast network in Europe. That is not the case of Donald Trump. Relations will have to be built, but they will be built on a pretty transactional basis. Clearly, the sense of a shared value base, of a shared purpose to the transatlantic partnership is going to be put a little bit in question and perspective.
Mm-hmm. This morning I was listening to the radio. They were saying exactly the same thing. The EU and US relationships.
I think that the election of Donald Trump will have a considerable impact on transatlantic affairs. Donald Trump has been putting America first and national interest first in defining his foreign policy, and he seems to be taking a very transactional approach to international affairs. That is very likely to apply also to transatlantic relations. He will value Europeans insofar as they can match his priorities. He has been open in questioning the value of NATO, for example, if Europeans do not rise to the challenge of paying for US commitment and doing more to preserve their security. So one can expect that Donald Trump will demand much more from Europeans.
Mm-hmm. So different. I mean, they just propose so much. So the visions of America are extremely different.
There is certainly a parallel between Trump's election and the vote for Brexit, because both of them reflect the rising populist tide and a kind of bottom-up insurgency against what is perceived and what is accused to be an elite or an establishment which is detached from the concerns of the people and which is distant from their priorities. It is also a nationalist agenda that has driven both Trump's campaign and the Brexit campaign in terms of getting back control, in terms of doing away with international constraints and obligations. So yes, there is clearly a parallel to be drawn here in between the two events. There is a risk that the election of Donald Trump, of course, sends a message to Europe that helps, supports and enables populist forces which are already gaining ground in a number of EU member states.
Mm-hmm. And what about you? Are you going to have a lot of interviews today? How many people were interested in?
I think I will. It's clearly the issue of the day. So, well, it seems to me that Donald Trump has been pretty clear in stating that the first security concern and the biggest threat to the US is terrorism, and in particular the so-called Islamic State. In pursuing this threat, I think that Trump regards Russia as a potential partner to work with, and he probably frames relations with Russia mainly through those lenses. He also said that he expects to get along well with Vladimir Putin, so clearly one can see room for a considerable shift of American approach to Russia. This is really going to change.
For me, they have